Well, I'm very excited to welcome to our podcast this week a three-time Olympian, a silver medalist from Rio in 2016, a two-time world champion, and really somebody who's hoping to get to Tokyo so he can get that elusive gold medal that he's been chasing at the Olympics. He's one of the lucky ones, I think. He's one of the few athletes who's actually been back out on the water and competing. Peter Kauzer, great to have you on the program.
Hey, how are you guys?
Yeah, look, we're good. How are you? How's it been for you the last few months?
Well, it it's been hard from the motivation prospect because when the season was canceled or postponed, the Olympics were postponed, uh, we hit like a sort of a black spot, and then it was like no motivation fell a little bit. I was the lucky one of the luckiest because I could still pedal like normally on the river every day. I didn't, but but still, I come from small town, and we disinfected the club, and I was the only one uh, who was using the facilities in the club. But it's like when you come back from Australia and you're in really good shape, you can wait for the season to start, the international season, and then everything is canceled or postponed. Like motivation kind of falls down a little bit. But luckily, I love what I do, so it was not hard for me to go pedaling. But it was just like a free pedaling, just for my head.
It must have felt funny being the only person there. Was it the only person paddling? Was it lonely?
Well,
What was it like?
you know, since Janos Peterlin, he's now a coach for Austrian team. Since he moved to France to his girlfriend, I was used to pedal alone because I live like 60 kilometers from Ljubljana, so I'm not every day in Tacen. I go to Tacen like twice a week,
Mm-hmm.
and so most of the time I'm training home back in my hometown, where like we have some kids, but they have a different training schedule than me, so I'm used to being alone. But it's like it was strange time because you were just like being cautious at every step, using masks and disinfection and everything. So yeah, it was quite crazy. But now finally things are getting back to normal.
Yeah, yeah. Peter, how were you feeling before you went to Australia? Nearly everybody goes to Australia. You
Yeah.
had some good racing down there. How did you feel heading as you were heading in towards your fourth Olympics?
I was pretty confident. I did good quality training in Australia. I was there since end of December, just before Christmas. I arrived there and I stayed there for like 2.5 months. And yeah, t- that's why I was quite sad when everything was postponed or canceled, because I felt really good in the boat. I'm not saying I was like uh, in the top shape yet, but I was getting there, and I like I sort of changed a little bit about my system of training, about how to cope on the races, because as you know, last season was not my season.
No.
I don't know if there were a season where I had so many 50s and touches and stuff like that. I came from the consistent one to inconsistent one,
Yeah.
so I wanted to change that. I put my focus on that, on the training already in Australia, and yeah. But now it's like I was really excited for this season, even
Yeah.
though I had like to qualify for Tokyo Olympics. I was in the worst position ever
Mm.
since I qualified like for my first Olympics, for my second, and for my third. But that just kept me pushing even harder
Mm.
during the winter time, and yeah. But now I have another year to prepare.
And Peter, what is your situation regarding qualification for Tokyo?
Well, actually now we are all waiting, like the federation is waiting what to do with the qualifying system, because before this coronavirus crisis, we had like three parts of selections. So the first one was the World Champs in Laseo. The second one should be our selections. There were like two races in Ivrea, two races in Tacen, but they were cancelled. And the third one was the European Championships. So the second and the third part was cancelled, and now they are waiting for the final decision from the ICF to see what will happen with, if we will have any of the races this season or not. And yeah, but I'm like 90% sure that our selections will continue next year. It's strange, you know. I would rather, in one way, I would rather be qualified already this year, so I would have like a whole year to prepare. But in the other way, you know, because you never know what will happen, or if there will be a second wave, or it won't be. You know, the traveling, the accommodations, and everything. I think we need to look from the health point of view and try to stay healthy, because, you know, if we get the virus, you know, it can mean the end of the season, or maybe the end of the career, you know. You never know.
Yeah, I mean,
so we have to be cautious, but yeah,
this is something that Ricardo Funk was saying the other day, Peter, about nobody knowing what the long-term effects could be on elite athletes. I mean, you could get it, and it could be something that affects you for forever, as you say. So you can understand why athletes are a little bit nervous, a little bit worried about if they do get the virus.
Yeah, that's why, you know, I'm like, and also I don't, even if I would get through it easily, you know, I don't want to infect my close family, and, you know, my grandma, my father, my mother, you know, and all the family, all the people I love, you know. And it's like, it's crazy, you know. I don't want to think about the conspiracy theories and stuff like that. Like, the virus is here, it stopped, now it's slowly back to normal. I don't want to risk the chance of getting it, because, you know, if I would be 20 years old, you know, if I miss one season, it wouldn't be a problem. But I will be 37 this year, and I don't have many seasons in front of me. So yeah, I try to be cautious at every step.
Yeah, Peter, just on that, as you said, you're 37 this year. You've been to 3 Olympics. What is your long-term vision? I mean, are you treating Tokyo as though it's just another Olympics? Are you treating it as though it could be your last, or are you still are you planning to go to Paris? What is your long-term vision?
Well, my long-term vision this quarantine time.
Yeah.
I was like, after, even before Rio, I said I will go till Tokyo. So that didn't change, and even the postponement of the games didn't affect my career, because I was planning to compete next year anyways, because next year we have a World Champs in Bratislava, which I always said it's my home course, not Tacen. So, and there was 10 years ago, actually 9 years ago, I won my second title there. So I said, like, I will for sure go till next year. But now, when this season is the way it is, I'm putting my options open for paddling for another Olympic cycle, because, like, if next year is the Olympic years, hopefully it will happen. You know, then it's only 2 years for the next one. And if this year would be the Olympic years, the Olympic Games, it will be another 3 years. And, you know, each year it's harder. But, you know, like I said at the beginning, I love this sport. I love what I do. So I'm just curious till where I can go, you know, like, with the results, because, you know, in our sport, you're learning every day. You know, it's not like the same situation, you know, every time. Even if you're on the same course, it's a different situation. So you learn every day, and I just want to see how far I can reach, And I still feel that I can reach higher than I'm reaching now.
Yeah. And it seems to be a sport where if you are consistent and every year you can compete, there's no reason why you shouldn't be still competing competitively when you're in your 40s. I mean, Mikhail Mardikin is a good example. He's still very competitive. And there are others as well who have had long careers and are still showing in their 40s and late 30s that they can still be very, very good paddlers.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm just like happy and about that I'm one of those guys who are late 30s and still can fight for a medal at every race or maybe for the win. It's hard, but I don't know, just that curiosity just pushing me forward every year on every training, and the love for the sport, because I always said this is for me, this is the most beautiful sport in the world. And if I would have to choose again when I was young, I would probably choose the same. So
you're also very fortunate, Peter, that you live in a country where I believe, just from what I've seen, canoe slalom is considered to be a very, very important sport, a big sport. A lot of other athletes are in countries where canoe slalom is maybe not considered to be as important as we would like to think it is. But what is that like for you, being an athlete in a country where canoe slalom is considered to be a major sport?
Well, we are not like, if you look from result point of view, we are I think the most successful federation in our country, because of all the medals at the World Champs, Europeans, World Cup circuit, also the Olympics. But it's like there's not a lot of us who are getting results in other sports. We have some individuals, but still, it's like, because we are a small nation, it's only like 2 million living in Slovenia. So like, especially when there's an Olympic year and there are Olympics, and if you get the medal, we get like 4 medal, 5 medal, like that's the average, 3 to 5. So if you're one of them, for sure the whole country knows you, and for sure like your sport is getting higher and higher on that level. So yeah, and like you said, you've been to not the World Cup races, the World Champs and Europeans. It's like the atmosphere is really good. It's you can compare it also with Prague in Czech, or in Po for the World Champs in 2017. I don't know, this culture, like especially in Ljubljana, in Tacen, the course is there. Like, people, even there, if there are no races, the people come there and just like chill in the sun, take a swim, or like close by you have like Šmarna Gora, St. Mary's mountain there where you can go. So it's like quite that activity part of Ljubljana,
Yeah.
So people live with it, and yeah, it's like that.
I think you carried the flag, didn't you, at the London Olympics for
Slovenia,
which must have been an incredible experience. But have you ever wondered, Peter, what it might mean for you and what it might mean for Slovenia if you were able to win an Olympic gold medal?
I don't know. Like, for sure, like everybody was expecting me to win at least a medal at London Olympics, because after all, I was the reigning world champion there. And also, like, when the media asked me, what's your goal for the Olympics? I said, my goal, like, as a world champion, I want to win the Olympic gold medal as well, but that's like every athlete's dream. So I was like really honest with my predictions, because I said, like, I always aim high. So if I feel I'm capable of winning, if somebody asks me, what's your goal? I will say, I want to win the race, So yeah, it would be like, even with my silver medal in Rio, it was like a sort of redemption for me, because like with all of with the lists of my results over the years since 2005, on every year I was at least on one podium, and not to get the Olympic medal, you know, it would be like a small small dark spot in my career, at least for me, you know. In one way, if I can joke a little bit about Richard, you know, he was a 5-time world champion, but he didn't get the Olympic medal, sadly, you know.
Yeah.
But, sorry, Richard, but yeah, it's like I didn't want to be that guy with my results without an Olympic medal. So I knew I was like I had a lot of pressure I put a lot of pressure on myself in Beijing, and especially in London, but in Rio, you know, I knew what I was capable of, and I just needed to do my run. But that final was like, you could easily go from hero to zero, because
Yes.
like that final in Rio was really tight. You know, it was like in less than 0.9 of the second, it was like 5 kayakers, you know, and like the quality of the runs was really high. So I was lucky enough to be on the good side of that tight race.
And do you think if you get to Tokyo, the pressure will be even less for you now that you've experienced, you've won that silver medal? Or do you think the expectation from all of Slovenia is going to be again that Peter Kauzer will win us a gold medal in Tokyo?
Well, no, I don't think it's gonna be like that. You know, I'm just happy. I can still fight for a medal. I can still be on my top level. I can be like a strong competition to the other younger guys. But like I said, you know, everything happens with a reason in your life, and I just want to. Hopefully, I will qualify to Tokyo, and when I'm there on the start line, I just want to show the run I know I'm capable of, even if that would mean at that moment like 5th place or like being out of the medal. I would still be happy with my performance. But for sure, the way I feel now, if I do the run I know I can do, you know, I can easily fight for a win. But I'm not disrespecting any other athletes, because we are all training to be the best. We are all training to try to win medals. And yeah, the same thing happened like in Po, if you remember, when I was a world champion for like 10 seconds, and then I finished third, but I was still happy with my performance. And this is what I'm aiming for, you know. If I do my best and then somebody's faster, I don't have a problem with that, you know.
And Peter, you've been fortunate enough in Slovenia. You've actually had a couple of weekends of competition now.
Yeah, we had second race this weekend.
Yeah, no one allowed to come from outside, but just within the country there. That must have felt, I suppose, fantastic being back competing, but also a little bit strange, was it?
Well, yeah. Well, it felt like we are having selections, because usually at our selections there's no one else. Well, maybe we have Italians, so happy that we could finally hear the start beat and had a normal race in these circumstances. So yeah, now because of the season the way it is, our federation decided, because the epidemic picture here in Slovenia, like, it's not bad. So they decided to make like a Slovenian Cup. So we will have races like almost every week now. And next weekend we have it in Celje, and then we have it in Socha River, up the river on the natural course. And I'm pretty stoked to paddle there, because the last time we had a race there, it was in 2007.
Oh wow!
So, it's on the natural river, and yeah, I really love it there. Like, every time we go there, because my wife's parents are from that area, and I always go there to paddle just for my to clear my head. And yeah, and then in July and in August we hopefully will have selections, and hopefully we will have races then in September and October.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And I understand, Peter, that there's been some changes at the Tucson course. Is that right?
Yeah, well,
tell us about it.
Well, now they changed the on the drop. They changed the balloon. They put like a hydraulic ramp there. So basically now it's a little bit harder because the water it's even faster.
Wow.
And before that, you know, the balloon stopped the water and then it slowly went over. But now it just go like full speed on from the start.
Wow.
So the first stopper there, it's quite huge. And it's really hard even for us for us to go on the right side of the drop. Like I posted 2 videos and yeah, it's like a roller coaster ride, but you know, it's more close to the old drop in Tatsan than the new one. But like it would be interesting if the junior world champs and under 23 would be held. It would be interesting to see how the young paddlers cope with that drop.
Wow.
But I think they will do some changes to make it like easier, more runnable. But I don't know when.
Yeah. I mean, there'll be some people listening to this who will not be able to wait. They'll be so excited to get there and try it out. But I can imagine, Peter, there'll be some listening who might think, oh my God, I cannot go. It was already hard enough doing that course, so it's now even harder. Yeah. And Peter, you mentioned your wife and you have a small child as well. A lot of the athletes I've spoken to have said how the break has actually been good for family because, you know, all of a sudden dads are
it is.
and all that sort of stuff. Is that the same for you?
Yeah, well, in one way, it actually feels good to be home.
Yeah.
To be honest, you know, I would love to race and travel around and be on races. I think now we would be on the World Cup circuit.
Yes, that's right.
And but in the other way, I really enjoyed time back home, you know, because like I don't remember being home for such a long time since my injury in 2014.
Yeah.
And before that, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's nice to stay home and just enjoy time with my family. Now Nola is back in school now, but yeah, you know, we are just enjoying the time that we have with each other in this situation. And actually now, even when I go to, for example, to Tatsan on a training, Nola is quite sad because she's used to having me around now.
Yes, this is the problem. And then all of a sudden, when things go back to the way they were, and everyone's going to wonder where everyone is all of a sudden, where the family is. Yeah. Peter, it's been great catching up with you. Yeah, everyone's got their fingers crossed that we're going to have some international competition at some stage this year. I think the European Championships have now been put in for Prague, possibly. So,
yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, so that'll be something to work towards. But we're looking forward to seeing how you're progressing and how you emerge from all of this. But it sounds like you've been looking after yourself pretty well, so it's all good.
Yeah, you know, older, smarter, they say.
That's exactly what I keep telling everyone. Peter, great to catch up with you. All the best, and hopefully we'll see you again very, very soon on the circuit.
Thanks. Great to see you. Great to talk to you, and stay healthy, and hope to see you around.